How flats on a regenerated council estate in South London are being marketed in the Far East as locals are forced out. Residents who were moved off the Heigate Estate in South London under a huge regeneration scheme have claimed they weren't offered enough money to buy another home locally. At the same time, new properties planned for the site are being marketed as luxury apartments abroad. Aisha Baksh reports.
Jerry Flynn was one of the first people to move on to the Heigate Estate over 30 years ago. He and his neighbours have now all been moved off, and he feels it's unlikely they'll be able to move back again.
Most of the council tenants will have been rehoused somewhere in Southwark, many of them in Walworth. The leaseholders, though, they've gone farther afield. They were offered levels of compensation which really weren't adequate, much too little to be able to afford another leaseholder property in the Elephant and Castle or even in London.
The estate is now fenced off, with only 2 properties still occupied. Other leaseholders have moved out of the capital to places such as St Albans, Slough and Sidcup. It's taken years to get to this stage and what will be one of London's biggest regeneration projects. But just how good will the deal be for locals and for Londoners? On the original estate, there were 1,100 homes. One of the new schemes will have 2,535 homes, 79 of which will be for social rent. That development will be called Trafalgar Place. BBC London has discovered its luxury apartments are now being marketed in the Far East, in countries such as China and Singapore, as investment opportunities.
They can afford the money. For them, it's a sound investment because London is still considered a very safe place to put your money, and London property is still considered a very safe place to invest in.
We want housing in London for Londoners, for Britons, for people who are working here and living here, not as development opportunities for people from all over the world.
Earlier this week, at the launch of another part of the regeneration scheme, I put these concerns to the Mayor and the local council. Do you think this is actually development for Londoners and locals?
Absolutely, I do. And I think, you're looking at homes that are going to be in the sort of 300, 350,000, the market homes, that sort of range. They will be aimed absolutely at the London market.
It's still very expensive though, 350 for
and particularly,
family.
Well, for central London, for Zone 1, that is competitively priced.
Delivering homes for people, it's delivering homes at all different price levels. So Lend-Lease have marketed the homes both in the UK and overseas, and I know that they're getting some pretty good sales in the UK as well as overseas.
So how many have been sold to overseas investors?
You'll have to ask Lend-Lease that question, I'm afraid.
When asked, developers Lend-Lease would not disclose the sum. Jerry and others say they hope their aspirations for homes will be fulfilled. Aisha Baksh, BBC London News.